Topic for tonight is going to be a gift guide. With the holiday season coming up, and oh my goodness, so many people everywhere who require so many things, we thought we would do everybody the assistance of helping everyone get on an even footing with all of the things that are available for all of the things that we sell here at Tower of Games and whatever else you may find at a local game store near you.
Tower.
Bro, you can't be yawning now. We got too much stuff to do.
Bruh, I'm always tired. Alright.
Always tired.
Well, I'm gonna take the energy now, because this is my section. This is the TTRPGs section. Tabletop role-playing games, for those of you who don't know all the acronyms.
You missed simulator.
What?
Sorry, your tone of voice was just tabletop role-playing game. Pause. Simulator. I've been watching too much internet.
You've been watching too much internet. Yeah. Not a specific part of the internet, just the internet as a whole.
Yeah.
Alright, so as an introduction to tabletop role-playing games, what you get to do is you make a character that you get to act out as that character in the world. And you would usually have a game master of some sort who will set the world up around you so that you have the playground to play in. It's wonderful. It's great. I love it.
Welcome to Dungeons & Dragons, where you get to fight massive monstrosities that defy all logic and all reason. Yeah, it's totally a playground.
Because of magic.
Magic.
It's great. So this particular one is D&D.
Yeah.
It's typically high fantasy, though you can adjust it to be low fantasy. It really just depends on your preference. But it is a fantasy setting. So you do want friends to play this. That being said, I have heard of people who run one-on-ones where it's one DM and one player, and it can be incredibly interesting, therapeutic, and you really get to delve into your character without any competition, which is kind of neat. Mm-hmm. But the more friends, the better as well, because, I mean, how many people do you have in your unit now?
I have 7.
Yeah, 7 as of tonight.
7.
So you can run some pretty decently sized groups, and as long as everybody is respectful of each other, you guys just get this joint experience of telling a story on your own.
On that topic, for D&D in general, if you guys are familiar with the larger scale of like social media, or if you've heard about a lot of these larger titles, Critical Role is a show that does almost exclusively 5e. They do have other content as well with their sponsors that they come through, but their main shtick has always been the Dungeons & Dragons games that is run by Matt Mercer and the rest of his voice actor friends. So that is the main source that you'll find in larger media for D&D. You'll also find a whole bunch of other TV shows or even animated series that focus very heavily on 5e mechanics, because while they can't use the licensing of D&D, because D&D is a imaginative setting, people want to see the stories that they are a part of come to life.
They will definitely draw a lot of inspiration from it.
And that is where it all comes from. And so even for the campaign that I am now running, I have a Dark Elf. Hey there. I have a Warforged that has become a tree that is going to become a fairy. I have a fish. I have a robot. I have a sorcerer. What else am I missing?
You have a human boy who's
I do have a human
in
boy.
with all the ladies.
Unfortunate.
I love him. He's great.
That is unfortunate. I completely forgot. But yeah,
you have the Dragonborn NPC.
Yeah, I do have the Dragonborn NPC, and then I have the sorcerer that's with you guys as well.
You also have a literal dragon.
Well, yeah, but that's in tonight's session, so I can't spoil anything.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, no!
D&D unfolding before
I've
you.
had a lot of time to think about this, and clearly I waited to do so until this exact moment.
Yes! But yeah, that is just some of the things that are going to be possible with Dungeons & Dragons as a narrative basis. But for the products, there are a few avenues that are available for everyone to actually start the game. Because for D&D, you're going to see it on camera, you're going to see it on screen, you're going to hear about it through friends, but it's normally a little bit harder to find the actual products that fits for the scenario you're looking to either create or the play group that you're looking to join. And so that's what we have today.
I will say it's easier if you know where to look, which is part of what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
So, to start, if you are looking to get started in Dungeons & Dragons and you don't know what you're doing, you just want the base minimum stuff that you need to get started, this here is what you want. Wyatt, will you be able to wait this for me?
What?
Will you pull it up and show it off? Maybe do like little twisty thing.
I'm waiting for my camera feed to catch up. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is the starter set. It comes with all of the essentials that you need to start. It comes with an adventure to run. It comes with a pair of dice. It comes with pre-constructed character sheets so that if you don't know how to get started in that, you don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
It's got basically everything you need. I think it comes with standees too, right? Like maps and standees.
I don't think about the standees. Yeah, I don't see the standees. That would be the Essentials Kit. Yeah, it's in the Essentials Kit.
Close.
And the Essentials Kit is what you will grab for a community. Because the Essentials Kit will have the DM screen, it'll have the dice, it'll also keep that same adventure and add a little bit more onto it, and it'll have the general map that you are able to use. So this, take home for you. Essentials Kit, take home for a group.
Yeah, both are good to have. I have one of each, actually. I need to look through them because I have a habit of buying things that I know are good resources and then not utilizing them.
And to answer your question, Nixie, for the kind of dice that you need, you're going to need what is called a 7 set. 7 set meaning that there are 7 different types of dice inside either the little case you get in or whatever else. So D20, D12, D10, D8, D6, D4,
and percentile. Now, to answer your second question, how many sets of dice do you need? Well, it really depends on your personality. If you are a dice goblin like myself, the answer is always more. But, some people can be satisfied with 1 set. I don't understand those people, but they exist.
Yeah.
My husband is one of them.
Unfortunate.
Which works, because then all of our dice money budget that totally exists can just go to my dice, and I get whatever I want.
Unfortunate.
It's fantastic.
And so, in addition to the Essentials Kit and Starter Kit, there is also the primary book, the main source material that everything else in 5e is going to be building off of, the common understanding, the foundation, the bridge, the water that's under the bridge.
Hey, this is an 8-page script.
The water under the bridge. The PHP.
This would be the player's handbook. This
Yep.
is basically if you were looking for another one thing to buy that you need for a broader range of spectrum as opposed to just the starter set, I would recommend you start with the player's handbook.
Yep.
It gives you information as a player. It gives you some items as a DM that you can be like, hey, here's some stuff I can give out. It gives you the basics of the world and how to physically play the game. There are a couple of other books. There is a set called the Core Set, which includes the Monster Manual and the Dungeon Master's Guide.
With the DM screen.
If you get it as a core set, yes, but they are also still the core 3 books.
Oh, you just mean the core set of... Got it.
So the Monster Manual, it's literally a manual of monsters. It is just here are what the different monsters are, and here are a bunch of stat blocks for them. It's really handy as a Dungeon Master if you're like, I want them to fight a goblin, but I don't know what a goblin looks like statistically. It tells you. When you've got the Dungeon Master's Guide, if you've got an idea that you want to run, but you don't know how to run it, the Dungeon Master's Guide has some really good tools for that.
Yep.
So I do recommend all 3, but if you are just getting started, this is where you start.
Yep, I always compare the Dungeon Master's Guide to the Beginner's Guide to World Building.
It is wonderful. I love it.
Yep.
And it also has a couple of good extra side books as well. So Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and Xanathar's Guide to Everything also expand on some mechanics and rules, as well as some options for players. So both of those are really good for either a player or a DM.
Yep. And if you are shopping for a more experienced player, speaking of, there is a selection of campaigns, campaign extras, and miniatures that can run for any price range that exists. And so if you're looking for I got $10, what you got? I'm like, I got a cool mini, boop. Or if you're like...
Or some nice dice.
Yeah, or some nice dice. Or if it's yo, he just graduated college, what do you want to get somebody that they'll never forget? A $400 dragon version of Tiamat.
Totally do that. We also have some sets, we have a Curse of Strahd revamped over there. Ooh. It is literally the module of the Vampire Lord himself, Strahd von Zarovich. And it is in a coffin-shaped box. It comes with a Taroka deck, which is an accessory that you use in the game to determine where specific items can be found during the adventure. This amulet that you really need could be in this guy's coffin, could be at my dinner table, could be in the hag's house. You don't know, because you find out through the Taroka deck. Yeah. And it's really neat. It comes with postcards so that you can invite your friends to it. I think it's hilarious. Welcome to Barovia. Sort of.
It's New Year's. You get, Halloween-themed invitations. What is this? You are going to play Dungeons & Dragons. No.
It is wonderful. So things like that are really neat. So every once in a while we get some cool stuff like that. We have a gift set of the core rulebooks, which is the 3 that I told you about, plus a Dungeon Master screen. And they come in foils. It's the only way you can get a foil cover of those.
Yep.
So... it's really neat. We got options for those of you who are looking to gift for people.
Yep. And feel free to ask more questions in store, because as
Absolutely.
D&D is a infinite realm of possibilities, it is also an infinite realm of questions.
I will say too, if you're talking about like here, most of us know D&D to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So we've either played it or we've run it. So
Let us
got
help
some
you
good
save money
options.
and also spend it.
Absolutely. All right. It doesn't look like we have anything over here, but we do also have a selection of Pathfinder products.
I tried so hard to find you a Pathfinder Beginner Box.
You know, it might have been bought because I think we only got the one.
Yeah.
But we do carry Pathfinder products. We carry some of the books. We carry the beginner boxes. We've carried the mat. I'm sorry, not the mat. The thing that helps you rearrange your encounters. Absolutely wonderful tool. You ever try and write the same thing down 60 times as a DM and you get confused? You just shuffle it around on this. It's great. Highly recommend.
And so for a elaboration on the differences between the two, for getting started in D&D versus Pathfinder.
If you were to get started in Pathfinder, I would recommend the core rulebook. I would also recommend starting in 2nd edition, which is what we have the stuff for. They've taken the time, so basically, for a little bit of history, Pathfinder 1st edition was heavily inspired by D&D 3.5 edition. So you'll find a lot of similarities between the worlds. One thing I really incredibly appreciate, though, about Paizo and what they have done with Pathfinder, they're incredibly diverse and inclusive in the types of characters that they will put in their games. You will find people who have certain disabilities that you don't see the same representation for in other role-playing games. You'll find a lot of customization options, and you'll find ways to get around certain... Like, if you want your character to be blind, they will find a way to make it work. Stuff like that. It's really neat.
Yeah.
I have a ridiculous character that wields a great axe that is several times too large for her because the mechanics say I can. It's fun.
Because the
spit all over it.
mechanics say you can.
It's literally what it is. Stuff like that. So Paizo is really good about that. And so what they did with 1st edition was really neat, and then they took 2nd edition and have refined it. So 2nd edition is more palatable, I find. So if you were to try and start with it, I would recommend getting the core book from 2nd edition. That being said, the beginner box works just as well. It's just if you had to get a book, I would get the core book.
Yep.
They also have like a GM guide. They have bestiaries. They also have many of the similar accessories that you will find in Dungeons & Dragons, but specifically for Pathfinder. They also have a sci-fi set called Starfinder, and that's fun too. I have not explored this at all, clearly.
The little
I have.
hairy jelly beans are so annoying.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called, but I can only describe them as hairy jelly bean centipedes.
I can't say I know exactly what you're talking about.
The thing that has a dice
But-
bag variant?
I know what you're talking about out there. I just haven't encountered it in game.
Okay.
But I got to play a girl who exploded on the regular. It was fun. She was called a Solaire or a Solar. I don't remember it. But basically, she gets either void or solar powers, and depending on what she decides. So she'll either implode and draw everything towards her, or explode and burn everything. She was fun. I like chaos. I don't know if you can tell.
You're staying on the outside of the ship.
Listen, I'm playing one of the most reasonable characters I have played for your game,
That is fair.
and you appreciate it a lot.
I very much do.
All right, so to move on, because this is going to be a long stream tonight, we also have Vampire the Masquerade. We don't have it over here, but that is something that we've been getting a lot of product in for lately. Not the easiest game to find in person, but we do have it. One of the best ways to get started for that is to go onto their website at worldofdarkness.com. It'll give you some good information about that. It has some quick guides. You can watch the game be played specifically on the Geek and Sundry channel. And then it has a starter pack bundle available online as well. And again, anything that you're looking for that we don't have in store, we are more than happy to try and special order it for you.
Yeah.
Now for something fun. This is all fun, but this is really exciting to me.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
You just wanted the dogs.
Yes! Who doesn't want cats and dogs? You want to play a cat? You want to play a dog? Guess what? This has options for that. This is Animal Adventures. The whole idea is that you play as a cat or a dog in the Dungeons & Dragons 5th E mechanics. So you get to be a dog and you get to go save Gullet Cove, is one of the things. It's, Saviors of Gullet Cove or something.
Mm-hmm.
They also have other adventures. I don't remember what they are. I know they've got at least one other.
Don't look at me, bud.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
It's a lot of fun, though. One thing you can also do, there is a spell in 5e that allows you to awaken an animal, which basically brings its intelligence base score to a 10, if I remember correctly. So you might have had a non-sentient dog, but it's sentient now, and this will give you some good ways to do that as well. So it's really neat. The miniatures are a lot of fun. They're really adorable. I love them. I want to play Elvis. You can't see him because he's on the back, and he's really small, so I'm not going to turn him around. But
It's like, look at this tiny blob.
he's so cute and charismatic. I want to play a cute little charismatic dog. So that's why I love this. Let's see. What are we doing next? Soulbound. You might have a little more to say about these ones.
Ah, yeah. There's a GW logo. Hand it to him.
Listen, you know more about the lore than I do.
That is true. That is true. All right. So for Games Workshop. Games Workshop is the company that has made Warhammer as a game, and they now have RPGs or role-playing games under their belt as well. The two that we have here are going to be Wrath and Glory and Soulbound. For Soulbound, which is right here, it is going to be an RPG or role-playing game based in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar universe. Translated in English, fantasy, sci-fi. And so as far as what's going to be in here, all of the things that you see in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, whether you're playing the Warhammer Total War games, whether you're actually seeing the tabletop miniatures inside of a brick-and-mortar store or you see them online, all of those characters, all of those different monsters and whatnot are able to be seen in the Soulbound game. So you want to go up against a vampire count? Good luck, but you can do it.
I always want to go up against a vampire count.
You want to go up against an ogre that looks like a 10-foot tall dude that
Sounds
stomachs...
like a blast. You talking about Nurgle?
What?
Nurgle?
No, the ogres. Nurgle, for those who don't know, is a lord of demons that is rot and pestilence.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't far off from what I was picturing. I was just picturing the wrong thing from you.
Yeah. I haven't gotten into my full descriptiveness, but...
Yeah, he's not DMing yet, so he's saving those,
That is correct. And Soulbound is able to be expanded upon with the core book, the bestiary, and whatever other materials have been released. I am holding the starter set right now, and for the Soulbound system, if I remember correctly, it only uses D6s. Yes, it only uses D6s, so you don't need to worry about D20s, D10s, D-whatevers. It is only D6s. That's all it has to be. Conveniently so. So when you're done playing Soulbound, you can use the exact same D6s and go play Warhammer.
or Yahtzee.
Or Yahtzee. Wait, Yahtzee uses D6s?
Yeah.
I haven't played that game in years.
Oh my gosh. My guy.
What did I do?
Listen, I'm more board game oriented than war game oriented.
That is fair. But yeah, for Wrath and Glory, which is going to be right here, Wrath and Glory is going to be a little bit of a stranger beast to tackle because it is going to be a sci-fi RPG using all of the different factions of the Warhammer 40k universe. And so, for those who don't know Games Workshop, they also have another sector of their company called the Black Library, which writes all of the lore. You take the Black Library of 40k, you dump it into this book. You now have Space Marines, you have Eldar, you have Chaos Marines, you have Sisters of Battle, you have Tau, you have all these things running together. And you actually get to make a cohesive narrative of your own in the galaxies of the 41st millennium.
Now, what I find very interesting about this, because obviously I know D&D a lot because it's my main system. The way that started was actually the creator was playing a war game and got curious about one specific soldier. He's like, what about this soldier's life? That's how D&D became a thing. So you can literally be running your army and then decide, I want to explore this soldier's life. And you can do it.
And you can do it.
I think that's really neat. I just love that parallel.
Yeah, my Lord and Terminator armor would be an absolute monster.
Do it.
He'd be an absolute
You gonna run
monster.
a Warhammer game next?
Oh, don't tempt me. But to describe what will come inside the starter set for Wrath and Glory, while I don't have it in store right now, the starter set for Wrath and Glory is going to have an adventure book with guidance for beginning players and game masters, a beginner's rulebook with everything you need to get started, 6 pre-generated characters, each with a deluxe character sheet and a background summary, 10 game dice, 2 double-sided battle maps, acrylic tokens to represent the characters, enemies, and NPCs for the adventure. And if I remember correctly, the adventure that is going to be in the starter set is going to be finding and taking a Valkyrie out of a destroyed warehouse, I think?
I don't know why you're looking at me for confirmation here.
You're the smart one.
I'm the smart one does not mean I'm the omniscient one.
I am not the omniscient one. But yeah,
Alright,
that is
I'm
Wrath
gonna
and Glory.
fight him.
And do you want to tackle Star Wars?
Sure. I'm not a
Sure.
Star Wars nerd, but I
Am I
have
tackling
watched
Star
it.
Wars?
So, well, you're the one actually playing in the campaign, so you might be the better one to tackle that.
We haven't started yet, but I know Star Wars.
Go ahead.
Here, take it away! Take it away!
Listen.
Alright, so for Star Wars, this one specifically is Edge of Empire. However, there are going to be others for it. The Star Wars RPG game is going to cover from effectively the Clone Wars to the Galactic Civil War, and it will also cover the era of the First Order. So you'll be able to cover and run with the entirety of the Star Wars Cinematic Universe, playing characters and other weapons, starships, everything that you will see inside like the actual Star Wars films or novels. And so this Edge of Empire beginner game is going to contain 1 adventure book, 1 rule book, 1 introduction sheet, 1 map, 4 character photos, 14 custom dice, 8 Destiny tokens, 35 character tokens, and 5 vehicles.
I just want to know, could you guys actually understand what he was saying?
I have no idea.
Because when he starts into the voices, and then he's got something in front of his face that kind of blocks him from the microphone.
But yes, this will have everything you'll need to start playing. And this is, I very much appreciate the Star Wars system. It's because it's not like anyone can just pick up anything and be a master at it. It's like, if you have never flown a spaceship in your life, you're gonna fight real hard to fly that spaceship out of the planet.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
I love elements of realism in games, and I will say that is one of my things that I'm not, like, always the happiest with, is in some ones where it's like, here, roll a skill check, and you roll a natural 20, which is technically the best you can possibly do. It doesn't mean that it's an automatic success, but a lot of DMs will rule it as an automatic success. And it's like, I've never touched a plane before in my life. How am I going to perfectly land it?
With skills.
I don't have skills. That's the point.
But yeah, for Star Wars, as far as how the RPG system works, you are not rolling against the Dungeon Master or the referee for the game. You are rolling against yourself. So, that's how that one's going to be a little different. But that is going to be RPGs, I believe.
That is the end of our RPGs.
All right.
Highly recommend.